I find it fascinating that he was such a young man, and he was such approached his duty in the world, what he felt was a duty in the world, with such a enthusiasm, and the person that he must have been an extraordinarily adventurous person, because going where he went at that time was really something that the normal bloke wouldn't do. So he must have been very special.
The one most impressive thing, of course, is to study the work of Ziegenbalg, how he sort of anticipated and developed during those few years where he was allowed to work at Trankebar, all of the missionary style and the missionary experience for the next 200 or even 300 years. He had to deal with a very hard government, that is the colonial company, and of course they wanted one thing, that is money. If they could exploit the people, that was what they were there for. Otherwise they could as well go home. They had no other calling. And then he, well, you know, just when he was came to the place, he was furious that they were beating the Indian people working with them and so on. So you should not beat those people. You should tell them about Jesus. You know, you don't beat people and then tell them about Jesus. So he incorporated, you could say, the whole tension between colonial rulers, or rulers of whatever sort for that matter, and mission work. Colonial rulers and governments may, and they may most often have done, with guns and dogs and whatnot, but you cannot preach the gospel with guns and dogs. You have to be with the people, and even more, you have to learn their language, not only because it's too tough to teach them your language, but also because, and he knew that sort of intuitively, if they have to take that gospel to their hearts, they have to have it in their own language. And more than that, they have it not only, you know, literally word by word, but also you have to understand the whole cultural setting. So whatever we have called indigenization, contextualization, enculturation, and so on, we have developed all those nice theories. He did it practically. And he did it very soon. And also further on, he developed what many of the best missionaries have done, that is doing the ethnographic work, also collecting the history and the memoirs and having it written down and the customs and whatnot of that people. And even more, and I think that is maybe the most impressive thing these days, we try to face up to the need of dialogue. How do we really talk to one another in a way that we don't, force one another to sort of think that my religion is a better one, but have a dialogue about religion, and at the same time making this dialogue be a witness about Christ. He did that wonderfully. We have had in our recent research by Sigvard von Sikar, his studies of his protocols of his conversation with Muslims and Hindus, that he was really up to standards of today of how do you conduct a dialogue. And now, why did he do that? Well, obviously he was gifted, otherwise he couldn't have done it in terms of language and workability in many senses of the word. But the one reason why he did it was that he was a pietist having one simple goal, telling people, enabling them to believe in Jesus. That was what it was all about.
Well, he had of course this impression that Christianity was good for them. the gospel would be of service for them. He also felt pity. And in a way you, of course, can describe that as a kind of condescending. But that was part of the time. That was the way cultural encounters happened in those days. But what was unique in their encounter was that he managed to make it a kind of equal encounter, and that was a respectful way that he did about it. He learned their language. He didn't impose anything from above, but did it from the ground up, and from that I think we can learn.